Hey guys, this is Jonathan Moulton here today with the third set of GoPro tutorials. This is going to be over color correcting and resizing. What you see on the screen here is what we're essentially going to try to achieve. When you jump into After Effects, take a good look at how your footage looks. It looks a little washed out. So what we're going to do is fix that. So I'm going to delete my duplicated layer there. It's not needed. So I'm going to take the stabilized composition and I'm going to make another composition out of it. Then we're going to select, press enter, and we're going to do CC for color correct. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is let's go to our effects panel. Let's just open up our color correction. Now for some of you a little new to After Effects and even color correction, you'll look at all of this and you'll be like, oh my god, what am I going to do with all of this? Well, let's just go ahead and jump in. We're going to use a few of them. Curves is an amazing thing to work with. So let's go ahead and drag and drop curves on there. First thing I want to do is deal with the highlights and the shadows. So one of the things you can do is give your curves, where it's still set to RGB, give it a nice little S-curve. And so go up here, you can turn it off, turn it on. You'll start to see it's already making it pop a little bit more. Next, let's drag in an exposure effect. Now this one isn't 100% necessary, but it's something I personally like. It just gives it a little bit of extra oomph to the brightness. Now I'm going to do hue and saturation. All I really want to do is just bring out the colors just a little bit more because they're a little faded. So let's turn it off and on. Alright, this bringing out my colors, it's actually showing me that it's a lot more reddish, which that's okay. We can deal with that later, but that's good. That brought out a lot more of the colors. Now if you want to kind of see your process as you move along, take your layer and duplicate it. And what I'll do for the top one is I'm going to delete everything. And so when you select the eye for both of them, it allows you to see all the effects at once and see what you're doing in the process. Right? So let's turn that back off. Next thing we're going to add is a vibrance. I'm going to bump it up to about, let's say 28. Let's see how that looks. It's a very subtle change, but I can see the blue is popping out over there. So next what we're going to do is let's go back up to curves, drag and drop another one on it. Let's go ahead and rename this one Curves Color, because this one I'm going to use to manipulate the color fields. So first let's go to our red. And one of the things you can do to start figuring out where your colors lie on the dark and light spectrum is over to your left side is going to be dealing with your darks and the right side is your brights. So select and make 3 points in the middle. So if you move this around, it's going to show you how your reds affect the shadows. Okay? And as you look at the darker areas, you see how reds are affecting it. This is your midtones. You'll see how your reds are affecting that. And this is your highlights. And you'll see how your reds are affecting that. So you see for your highlights up here in the clouds, there's a little bit there. But you can select this always to get rid of everything. So for the red, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just bring it down in the shadows a little bit. It's a little too reddish in the shadows. Okay. Now let's go check out the blue. I know I don't want to deal with the green for this. So the blue, I think, again, do the same thing. You just want to try and figure out where it is you want to have it pop. So this looks good right there. I really love the blue popping out. So again, click it off, click it on, click it off, click it on. You'll see the effect you're having on it. So I do this to pull back the red just a little bit, and it helps fix it. So for now, our curves color is looking pretty good. Another thing I'm going to do to kind of just touch it up is let's sharpen it up a little bit. So this might not be in your color correction area, so instead of jumping around, let's type in sharp. I'm going to grab sharpen and drag and drop that onto that. I'm going to turn this up to about, let's say, 13. Turn it off, turn it on. It's a very subtle change, but it's something I like. So let's press the X for that. And last but not least, I'm going to use what's called levels. And levels also will deal with the contrast elements. So you don't always have to get it perfect with the first go. Because I was dealing with the contrast up there, but now I've done all this stuff and I want to mess with the contrast just a little bit more. But instead of going back up to the top, I'm going to actually manipulate it from here. This one right here is where it's going to really crunch it in and give you the effect that you want. So let's go with about right there. Maybe about right there. Let's see how that's looking. Great. It's bringing out the darks a little bit more. And that's really all I was wanting. Perfect. So, what I'm going to do towards the end of this video is I'm going to play all of the effects that we've put on our GoPro footage. But last but not least, I wanted to resize my footage. So take the GoPro color correction layer and just make a new composition out of it. And then right click on it and go to composition settings and change this to 1920 by 1080. Okay. And then what you could do is you could scale your footage up 200%. If you have a different setting, say you have it at a different resolution than what I have, you can actually go to transform and say fit to comp or fit to width or fit to height. For this one, since I know the aspect ratio is the same, I'm going to do fit to comp. And so now we have a 1080p version of what we have. So what I'm going to do is let's put up on the screen all the effects that we have. First we have our fisheye effect, and this is what we did. We fixed it from this to this. Next, we have our stabilize effect, and we fixed it from being super shaky to a lot less shaky. Now it's still a little shaky, but it's a lot less. It's more bearable to watch. Then we did some color correction. So we took it, and as you look over here, it's a little faded, and you look here, it's a lot better. Alright, so let me put up all the effects on the screen. Alright, so just take a moment, look at that, and that's step 1 to step 3, essentially. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe, give us a thumbs up. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to drop them in the comments section, and have a good one.